Hey everyone. My name's Ryan, and today I'm going to go through kind of my experiences of monetizing iOS apps. Kind of everything that I wish I was told when I started out. So if you're starting out or you're partway through your journey, then hopefully this will save you a year or two. And so iOS apps, they can kind of be very bad, some of them, where they have like hard paywalls and they monetize in very horrible ways, and so hopefully I've stayed away from that. I think I have, but obviously you guys can decide. But hopefully take what you like and leave the rest. So yeah, just to give you a little bit of background on me. So I got into consumer apps back in 2016 when I joined a car insurance startup in the UK called Cover, where we used to sell car insurance, or still do sell an hour of car insurance in a couple of taps on a phone. It takes like 20 seconds and it costs a few dollars or pounds. And yeah, so I didn't know how to code there, but then this is me down here. I had a lot more hair back then. And yeah, so I didn't know how to code back then. I was in the marketing team, as you can tell by the fact that I was wearing a cap on my head. And yeah, so back then, that kind of grew, learned how to market apps, learned how to build the the customer support team, and then the data team. And then it got really big, and then I just kind of got to the point where I felt like a little cog in a machine. I wasn't learning as much as I wanted, and I wanted to, there he is. I wanted to kind of take the learnings that I had and then try and apply it to my own app. And whilst I was there, on the way to and from work every day, I was learning how to code. So that was back in the UI kit and storyboard days. And that was horrible, but that was my adventure into coding. And so I left there. Whilst I was there, I was starting to build an app called Daily Prompt. It's an app, a creative writing app for aspiring authors. And it kind of gives them new story ideas every single day. And the whole goal is to write a short story, share it with the community, and rinse and repeat. Think of it like a social network for aspiring authors. And that's not what it looked like day one. This is what it looked like day one. It was absolutely terrible, but in my mind, that was beautiful. And I genuinely looked at that and thought, this is going to the top of the App Store. So I learned that I wasn't very good at judging what was good and what was bad. So yeah, that was that. I did that for a few years. That still runs to this day. And the second app is Outside. It's a countdown app where you can count down to help you plan your upcoming events and count down to all the events, holidays, plans you've got with your friends and family. Both of these apps have made like, I don't know, not quite $500,000, but hundreds of thousands of dollars in total. And so in this talk, I'll kind of go through how I did that. And then how you can kind of break that down into like 3 stages, because there's like quite a lot you kind of want to get right, and this kind of just breaks it down into those steps that you want to take along the way. And a kind of few ground rules along the way is this is purely consumer-facing apps. No, I've never done B2B, don't know how to do it, won't even try. It's all done based on the freemium business model. So there's no pure hard paywall. There's no, you have to pay £3 to download the app. It's just, you get part of the app for free, and then we sell you on certain features that you might want to pay for later on. And when you kind of approach that business model, it's good that you pay, that's typically if you're on the good side. My apps are typically halfway in the middle, and think about what do you need to be focusing on two things that you kind of need to overlay to kind of get a good start on this. So solve a problem. Don't just build something because it's cool. Like, this is about monetizing an app. This isn't about building a side project, and they're two different things. So what problem am I solving? For Daily Prompt, the creative writing app, it wasn't writing prompts. That's not a problem people have. It's like, I want writing prompts. That's some surface level thing someone's asking for. The problem they're having is they have writer's block and they don't know how to start writing. And that's the problem, that's the solution that I'm selling to them. And then how will people find out about it? Great if it's a problem, but then if no one knows how to find you in the first place, it's kind of a dead end. And so back to Daily Prompt, I found out about 60,000 people a month search for it in Google for writing prompts. There aren't, it's a weird niche, trust me. And obviously they're not typing in how to solve writer's block, that's less focused on. But the writing prompt is the thing that's kind of telling you there's demand for this, and it wasn't clear that there was a good solution to it. And so that was the point where I was like, okay, clearly something that I can solve, and there's plenty of demand for it. Going back to Outside. So Outside, like I say, it's a countdown app, and the future that we want to see is we want to see more people getting outside, meeting friends, getting out of the world and having fun. That's kind of like what we want to do. So we started out with this. It's beautiful. You can see if any of your friends are around, you tap on them, you say, hey, I'm around, anyone want to hang out? That didn't work. So we pitched and we pivoted a bit so you could see what events your friends are up to. That didn't work. Next, this is like 2 years ago, AI was kicking off. AI event planner, didn't work. Then we went for a countdown app. So it's like you're planning holidays, things that you're looking forward to. Okay, let's pivot to that. That worked. Thousands of users, lots of people searching for it. Okay. Same rough idea, different approach. We've hit on something, and now we're just iterating on that and making it better, improving it, and evolving on the idea over time. So the acquisition part of the 0 to 1K is you only need, if you say 1% to 10% paying $20 to $80 in price, so you need about 1,000 users to get to that stage. And you can kind of get through this, it's kind of like put your hustle hat on and just kind of go out there and see what sticks, essentially. And so you're posting on social networks, trying to find people to download it. Reddit has been really good, and it's still to this day is like when we speak to users, it's like where our top users all come from. Like 70, 80% of the time, people just are searching for the best countdown app. And we have dominated the comments. So Outside is the best countdown app, apparently, according to Reddit. And then you can launch on Product Hunt and other similar websites. And then App Store optimization for this stage is normally really good. You're at a disadvantage because if you're just launching now, how long your app has been on the App Store matters and helps, and how many ratings you have. That's a whole rabbit hole you can go down into, and it's definitely something I would suggest for the first 1,000 downloads. For Daily Prompt, it's still the biggest amount of downloads we get. So if you search writing prompts, I don't know what it's like in Australia, but in America and in the UK, we're #1 and #2, and that's what all the traffic comes from, all the revenue as well. So app figures, give that a go. You can find out what people are searching for, what demand there is. Just rinse their free trial, and you can just go through there and just have fun and just find out, is there any demand for the thing that you're selling? So Outside would be an example where no one's searching for how to meet up with friends, or meet up with friends more often. That's not a thing. Countdown app, similar idea, solves the same problem. You're going on holiday, you're meeting up with friends, but that was the search term that turned out to be valuable. So the onboarding. So back to ground rule, onboarding super important. You have no data, you have no users, or you have a few users. So you have assumptions. You have assumption of what people want. You have assumption of what someone wants. So you have to try and give that, whatever that is, to them. So you search for writing prompts, you probably want writing prompts. I should give you writing prompts. So that's the idea of your onboarding, is to just try and solve that problem as quickly as possible, as best as you can, and then surprise them, hopefully, in some way that you've over-delivered on what they want. So by the time they get to the end of that paywall, end of that onboarding, they're like, yeah, I'll give this a go, it solves my problem. And so getting started off, if you need inspiration or any ideas, this website is incredibly good. It pretty much has every screenshots of every app that's good in the App Store. Well, not everyone, it doesn't have my apps, but it, they have a lot of screenshots, and you can just go by flows, and you can just look at all of the onboarding screenshots for certain apps and how they onboard someone. So that's something I use all the time. And then at the end of the paywall, end of the onboarding, add your paywall. And this is critical. This will save you 1 year of time, which I'll show you in a second. Just put a paywall in there. From day one, without a question, like if you're going to build the app, put a paywall in. And this will tell you if it's valuable or not. And so 2 things you can use for that. One is Superwall, and one is Revenue Cap. And they will handle all of the in-app purchases for you, either one. Superwall is kind of my go-to. And because they can handle showing the paywalls, you never build a paywall. They have templates of every paywall pretty much ever built, and you can just kind of click through which ones that you want to show. You can A/B test them. There's so much you can do, and this is more important for when you get to like 10,000 or to 100,000. Like the Superwall comes in super. You think people come into your app for, and then you can watch their behavior in the app, what they're doing, and then you can actually get an understanding of what do they actually want, because that might be very different. So getting the analytics in the app to see that, and then also talking to users to see, does that match up with when I talk to them of what they want. And so year 1 of me building an app and launching it, there we go, got loads of downloads. That's my first 1,000 downloads. But if I listened to someone give a talk, I would have had revenue. I had 0 revenue because it's a product that was getting better. I was improving it all the time. I had no paywall in the app. I had nothing. And so I wondered why this business wasn't growing. Nothing more to add. So the next phase is more focused on the everything that came before. So you kind of want to do like a loop, imagine it. If you're kind of like, you have the idea, you're obviously always continually trying to get users. And then on the onboarding, you're always trying to feed back the learnings you have into that onboarding. So we've probably rebuilt the onboarding like 10 times, and I hate it, but it makes a huge impact every single time. And then in this phase, it's the more paywalls feature gating one. So you're going to, I'll get into that in a second. A few bits, so you're going to be iterating on the product, which I'm sure you've heard many times before, which is about getting someone to the magic moment on onboarding, which I'll talk about in a second. From that, you want to find out what is the thing that you want to be doubling down on. So is it you need more features? Is it you need one feature done better? Like TikTok, they didn't need to add more features, they just need to get you hooked within like 2 videos. And so there's a very difference between the two. And then, like I say, acquisition, not so much going to go into that for this talk. App Store optimization is something you can continually go down if there's enough demand for your search terms. And so, more paywalls, more people that see your paywall, more people that typically pay. Not always true, but these 3 things that seem to be pretty much true. So for daily prompts, 10% more revenue by putting that crown at the top of the screen. So if people like the app within 1 day, they typically just tap that crown button and they're like, cool, I like this, I'll pay. And that's sort of no feature changes or anything. 10% uplift by adding a welcome offer. We offer discount for the first 48 hours and it just counts down. Another 10% uplift in revenue. And then in the settings section, just having a way that people can pop in and for whatever reason, 5% uplift in revenue. That's adding no features, no nothing. You're just getting more eyeballs in the app and you're then understanding, or if someone then pays, you're then understanding that you're solving a problem for someone. And then based off of that, you can then try and speak to them more and then just keep doubling down on what that is. The magic moment. So this has been said a million times before by many other people, and it's about most people delete your app on the first day, within the first hour, and so you need to very quickly provide value to them. And what is that thing? So for us, for writing prompts, is to get you to get a writing prompt that you like. If you are a countdown app, you probably downloaded the app to count down to a certain event. So you need to get you to add that event as quickly as possible. And so that's the magic, well, not the magic moment, that's just like the good moment. But it doesn't look like this. It isn't some wonderful magic moment that you just see and you're like, aha, this is what I should optimize for. It looks like this. It looks like data. And this is why the first point was super interesting, like super important to get the analytics in, is because what you want to do now, you've got 1,000 people in your app, and you want to see what are they doing. And then, once you see what they're doing, you want to see what makes someone enjoy my app more than other people. And so this is a retention graph to say how often does someone come back. So 1 week later here, you can see between about 40% and 60% of people come back a week later. And the layers in the lines are based on how many events they have in the app. You can guess which direction it goes. If you have more events in the app, the better your retention is. So we know that's a clear indicator. We only found that out. Well, you'd think it through common sense, but this just double checks that. But then we also found out that if you add a widget, your retention is better. If you sync your calendar to the app, which then if you add the event to outside, it goes to your calendar. If you add it in your calendar, it comes back to outside. If you do that, your retention goes up again. If you do all three, your retention is huge. So we took those learnings and we went back to our onboarding and we gave them a little hello welcome screen. We then let them add their event straight away. They couldn't do anything else. They downloaded the app because they want to count down to an event. So you let you put that in, we'll give you some nice UI, do whatever you want. Straight away as they do that, you can't see it here, there's some wonderful animation that tells you to add your widget. See the continue button looks disabled there because we know you haven't added your widget yet because you have to leave the app to add your widget. So you go out the app, it's not actually disabled, you can tap it. But if you go out the app, maybe you add your widget, maybe you don't, you come back to the app. We now show the button doesn't look disabled, so now you're going to tap it. But if you have added your widget, it will auto push you through it. So just a small little thing is like people would just tap continue all day long. So you need to like break them out of that habit. They see a disabled button and they're like, oh, I want to add a widget anyway, so I'm going to tap it. So then we would explain to them what calendar sync is because they don't know what it is. They're probably not interested in it, but they might be. And then they set it up or they dismiss it. And then on this screen here, you then pick which events you want to sync. And you'll see here at the top, we had a little bit which says sync up to 5 events because we saw the magic number is about 5 events. If we get you to 5, you're going to stick around. And so now if you've got your widget, you've added your first event and you've synced 5 events to outside, you're going to stick around a long time. And so this was kind of how we took those analytics, those insights, and brought it back to the onboarding. And like I say, this was probably the 10th time of us doing this, and this is the current state of it. Feature gating, tell you a little, show you a very quick one from Daily Prompt. This was Daily Prompt about 2 years ago. And this button here was where you'd get access to our library of prompts. So you tap that, you'd see 300 plus prompts at the time, and we would then explore around, but when you tap to write for them or view them, you'd hit a paywall. Only about 10% of people we saw were doing that. So I thought, I'm smart, I'll add a tab. So I added a tab for it instead of adding a button for it, and increased revenue by 50%. And so we knew by instinct that people were coming for the app for prompts, so we would just make it more obvious to them. And the problem beforehand wasn't the prompts, it was the fact they couldn't discover them. So small thing, revenue jumped by 50%.
Do you mind if I stop you there? This is about to run out of memory again, so I'm just going to swap it out quickly.
Nice. Pausing.
Is it good to use this?
Everything before stays true. You're finding out what features people want, the onboarding, what you should be focusing on. But here you're adding a lot of, like I say, really focus on the day 1 to maybe week 1 of usage. Really try and understand what the user's doing. Look at the analytics, talk to users, rinse and repeat. And then acquisition, like I say, there's so much you can do on there. But from the product perspective, you really on this layer want to add on the paywall A/B testing, because now you should have a fairly good amount of people come into the app. So now making a few tweaks on the paywall can make a huge difference. Like literally, we did one change of changing the call to action button, and opting into premium went up by 30% for 10 minutes of time. But obviously, this makes a lot of difference when you're already making like $10, $20, $30,000 than if you're making $100. So this is where it starts to make a big difference. And then you can start playing with price testing because you have enough data to run tests like this. And so, for example, we have a test running right now where we was charging $20, now we're charging $30. There's no difference in opt-in rate, just another 50% of revenue. And so that test has to play out yet, but it looks pretty promising. And there's just all these silly things that as developers, like you just gloss over because you're like, people will pay if I create a great product. But I think as indie developers, you typically undersell yourself. And the market will tell you what they're willing to pay, so long as you're not doing it in a scammy way. So paywall testing, Superwall price testing as well. They handle all the analytics or everything for you. They have the stats. They even have a feature where you just, this isn't paid by the way, they even have a feature where you can just auto pick the best one. So you could just set 5 paywalls to run. You need enough data for it, and they'll just keep the best one running at all time. There's just so many great features, and you can show the pop-up of the paywall at any point, depending on which feature you want to gate or not gate, without pushing any code changes. So yeah, so literally from 10 to 100K is actually probably easier, I'd say, than the first bit. 0 to 10K is like super hard because it's the problem and it's the talking to users and it's the iterative cycle. But then when you get a bit of a habit going and just really focusing on that, then it gives you way more time and testing and data to learn more to get going. That's kind of where I'm at the minute. So I won't talk any further. So from me is the, if you want to check anything out that we do, check out this app. It's called Outside. It's a countdown app. But you can use it with your friends, your family. You can basically now organize my whole life on it. And a goal of the future is to get everyone outside and having a great time. Thank you.
Marcelo, do you have a question? We'll start over there.
I just wanted to know if you have any wise magical advice on where to define what is free and what is not.
Feature-wise?
Yeah, feature-wise.
So I think depends on the app, but it's kind of like you want something that someone that they clearly want, that isn't too hard to give them, that they can come back every day. So a common feature, so Strava, which is a fitness app, they let you log your runs and your cycling and that for free every day. You can see your stats. But if you want to see, like, explore lots of places on the map, which is something that you're not going to do every single day, they're the kind of things that, like, the one-off things that might be super features. So I think try get them with a retention hook that keeps them coming back every day for free, and then charge for the premium, the fancier features.
Thanks. That's what I was looking for.
Thanks for the talk. I was wondering how you go about, as a small indie developer, balancing customer support, customer discussion with, engineering. Does that become a challenge?
I just look in the mirror and then bounce it off myself. It's the hardest thing is talking to users and believing users when you talk to them. Because like as a developer, you have an inkling for what you want and what you believe, and a lot of the time you can go around in your own head and you think you know what's best, but you don't actually talk to any users. And then you talk to a user and the issue was just one little simple bug that you never tested, and that's the problem.
I've got one. What's next? Have you got other ideas, or is it just to refine the existing?
100K to a million. No, it's outside, so that's what we're focused on. That's the 10-year project that we want to build. And so building web invites, building Android, we've got some, I was joking about that AI thing earlier, but we've got this really cool thing coming out. So we now know a fair bit about you because some people have 10 to 100 events. We know what you do, what you're into, and so we can give people very, very personalized insights of what to do. And now it's kind of like, it's not public yet, but I actually spend a lot of my free time doing those suggestions. It's very cool.
Have you ever played with the model of instead of subscriptions, paying with like pay full price for a version, and then you ask for another price for another version? You know, the old model of software.
So having a hard, like you can't
like
even touch
full
the app?
price models. I just wonder how it plays out as a developer in your business models.
I've never done it. It's kind of, I think a lot of this stuff is that I've said today, and like have learned is like it's sometimes just try not to be smart for it, and so like do what's common, because like consumers like to jump around apps and kind of know what to expect. And I think because of how the last 5-10 years have played out, people kind of expect freemium apps. So I don't have much experience, but that kind of is my gut instinct.